Hi and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Simon and today I'm back with a video inspired by one that my mum made on her channel a couple of weeks ago, talking about and choosing the books that she was packing for a holiday. And I am off on holiday later today, funnily enough, to join her. And so I thought I would do something similar. I don't exactly have rules around the books that I pick to take on holiday with me. It's not like I suddenly go, oh, head to some lighter reads or anything like that. But when I was looking through different shelves, which I'm not going to do on here like Mum did it, although it was very entertaining watching my mum crawling around the floor on her library at points picking books. I'm not doing that here. What I've done is selected a selection or 5 of books that I kind of think fit the sort of holiday book brief, if that's the right term. There is one book though that I'm just taking regardless and actually goes against what I usually do on my holidays, which is to take a hardback. I'm always thinking about the amount of space a hardback will take up, the weight of a hardback, and so generally it's not something I'll take with me. Plus, I also tend not to take books on holiday that I can't leave there, because you never know if you're going to end up finding a bookshop where there are more books that you want to bring back, or you want to get some, I don't know, bits and bobs, gifty shenanigans, things like that. It's about taking books that I can leave, or in this case actually pass on, because all of the books I take are ones that I think Mum hasn't read, and so I can pass on to her because, as she mentioned in her video on her channel, as I mentioned earlier, wow, this is getting a bit confusing for me. So I'm sort of arriving with bookish delights that I can pass on to her. So enough waffling. What is the first book I'm taking that is the hardback that I mentioned? It is Glorious Exploits by Ferdia Lennon. And the reason that I want to take this is because it's actually set where we're going to be in Italy. And that is something that if I can, I will try and do, is to read something set not necessarily exactly where I'm going. This is like, it's quite random that I spotted that this is literally where we're going, but generally like in the same country or somewhere close to where I'm staying. This is about the failed Athenian takeover of Sicily. They invaded, that's the word, invaded, and it all went wrong. And yeah, this follows on from there, which I'm really, really intrigued for. Now, you might be thinking, Simon, you don't normally like to batter around your books when you travel, but as I mentioned, or did I mention it? I don't think I did actually. You'd be right, but I do have the American edition, which I'm going to leave here, which I actually think, I love this cover a lot. It makes me smile when I see that cover. This is lovely, but I just think that one's better. But I guess this does kind of give more into, I think the main characters are potters. So yeah, that very, very excited for. That's definitely going in the case. One genre that I tend to pack, and generally tend to pack 2 books within it, is a good crime novel. And the reason for that is I need something to read on that tin can, thousands of foot above the floor of the earth, or the surface of the earth even. I need something that will totally take my mind off it, because I don't love flying. I'm not like a ridiculous bag of nerves, but it's just not my favourite thing. I like taking off, I like landing. I know they're technically the most dangerous bits, but that bit in the air for however long, just like confined, starts to get to me, and every little noise will bother me a little bit. Anyway, so I have 3 potential picks, and the first of those is Kate Atkinson's Big Sky, because when her new Jackson Brodie novel arrived the other day, which is coming out in September, I realised I haven't actually read Big Sky, and we are going to be by the sea, and whilst that's not the sea in Yorkshire where this book is set, there's going to be lots of seagulls. I don't know, that's a very tenuous link. However, I think my mum might have read this one, but this could be my read back. So this could be that perfect, I mean, Kate Atkinson's wry wit and the twists and turns in her Jackson Brodie books are brilliant. So I know I'll be completely hooked and lost in it. And so, yeah, I think actually that solved the riddle for me. The other potential one I thought, but has actually turned out to be a failure, is the latest in Susan Hill's crime series that I've not read, but this actually I think is 3 on from that, and I've realised I don't have the paperback of I think I'm on the 8th or 9th in the Simon Serrella series. I did though when I was in Italy, was it last year? think it was last year, pick up one in a second-hand bookshop that had a British section. So who knows, I might find the one that I need. But also I do need to remind myself once I'm back to actually keep a list of where I'm at with various crime series that I've been reading for like years and years, and also just get back to them because I don't do it often enough. And then the one I think I'm going to read on the way out is Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby, which randomly the publisher sent me 2 copies of, I think accidentally. So again, this is one that I can take out, read, and I think my stepdad will also possibly be intrigued for this one, as well as my mum. This is all about I think it's a gay couple who are killed, and it's about both their fathers who are not very good about their son's sexuality, particularly, I believe, the father of the guy in the couple who's black. So that really, really intrigues me. And yeah, I'm keen to get to it. And lots of you have said I will really, really love S.A. Cosby's books. So that's going in the case of me for definite. So we've got, so far, 2 definites and 1 probable for the journey back. Although there is also the fact there will be a bookshop in the airport. We mustn't forget that. I was thinking I'd really like to take a book that is out about now. I was thinking it'd be quite nice to head to a book that's come out this year so far that I've been wanting to get to but just haven't got to. That didn't make any sense. I was also thinking it might be quite nice to head to a book that's already come out this year that I've been meaning to get to and kind of having a little catch up, but I don't know, there is one potentially on the shelves. I'll give it some thought, but I was thinking about books that are like literally out around now or just about to be out, and there were 3 options of those that I could take. The first one is The Lost Love Songs of Boise Sing by Ingrid Persaud, also a nice big chunky book. I'm really excited for this. I loved Ingrid's debut novel, Love After Love. I've been keen to get to this one. Now, the reason that I've decided not to pack this is because I'm doing an event with Ingrid in Manchester in May, and even though it's one of the books that I'm most excited for this year, I know that if I'm reading it for a work event, I read it kind of differently. And because I am on holiday, and other than maybe filming a vlog, I'm not planning on really picking up my phone or camera or wanting to be in work mode in any way at all. I think that means I should save this for when I get back. And actually, along with a couple of other books that I'm not taking because I've only got the proofs, Evie Wild's new one's an example, Alicia Fack's new one's another one that I'm really, really keen to get to. I think I might have a week of reading those once I'm back in the UK, because I'm probably going to have the post-holidays blues a bit. So yeah, that one I decided wasn't like for now. Then we have David Nicholls' You Are Here, which I was almost 100% going to take. It's his latest novel. I've really enjoyed a lot of his previous novels. One Day I read when it initially came out and thought it was amazing. I think he's a fab writer, and I heard him read some of the opening chapter of this at the Sceptre showcase and it was hilarious. So I'm really, really keen to get to it. But I suddenly realised it's not paper. I've given away what I'm taking instead. It's not paperback size. It's actually a little bit bigger. And whilst it's thinner, Mum talked about this as well, you kind of want a book to be a bit meaty too. So maybe, again, this is another one that I head to once I'm back. It's always nice to know that you've got like a read that's a real treat ahead for when you, yeah, like I said, got the post-holiday blues and feeling a bit glum. So the one that I am taking, which matches this, a book that's out, well, it's not out actually until next week, I don't think. Actually, is one that I should have got to sooner. Again, with some of my favourite authors, I'll get their new book, get super duper excited about it, and then do like, oh no, I'll save it for a rainy day. Which is why actually I'm thinking with those other books that I mentioned, like Ingrid's, David's, Evie's, Elif's, not for a rainy day, but for those gloomy post-holiday days maybe. But anyway, I've gone on a terrible tangent there, as is my wont. I'm taking Sarah Perry's Enlightenment, which, as I said, is out next week. I don't know too much about this, and often with authors that I really, really love, I don't want to because I just want to experience the book. I think it's got something to do with stars and astrology. I think there's something about maybe forbidden love and also religion, and I think it's over a few different time periods too. So that really, really intrigues me. And I loved, well, The Essex Serpent is like one of my absolute favourite books, so this I've been very much looking forward to. So yeah, that's definitely going with me. And also I know Mum, A, won't have read it, and B, will really probably want to read it, because I think she really liked The Essex Serpent. I'm pretty sure she did. So that's going with me. Then we have historical. I am in the mood for more historical fiction. The Maiden by Kate Foster was one of the reasons that I got a bit of a itch for more historical fiction. That makes it sound like I had an allergic rash in reaction to that book. I didn't. It was like, oh, I want more. Reading The Household by Stacey Halls certainly had that effect on me. I'll be talking about that and all the books that I've read that aren't Women's Prize longlisted books in February, March and April once I'm back from holiday. I'm planning on doing a video there. But yeah, I'm definitely in the mood for those historical treats. And I picked up the other day Disobedient by Elizabeth Fremantle, which is set in Rome, so it's kind of, that's not that close to Sicily, but it's certainly closer than I am now. It's set in 1611, and I think it's about a woman who does what people don't expect a woman of that time to do. Artemisia dreams of becoming a great artist, but her future is not her own. She belongs to her father and will belong to her husband until a mysterious tutor enters her life. Tassie is a dashing figure, handsome and worldly, and for a moment he represents everything that a life of freedom might offer, but then the unthinkable happens. So that intrigues me, but I don't have another copy of this. I'd be reading it sort of very delicately, and when I'm on holiday I just want to lounge and like maybe possibly crack a spine, which I know, awful, but true. I think Mum would also really like this, which is the reason that I was thinking it might be a good read for me to pass on to her. So yeah, maybe. I really like the colours of it actually, and also I want to read Firebrand, which is a previous novel of Elizabeth Fremantle's that they've now redone with a sort of matching cover to this one. But yeah, this was one that I was like, oh, I really, really fancy that, but that's going to be for when I get back. Cecily by Annie Garthwaite, I randomly ended up with 2 copies of, because one I bought myself, and then when I went into Story House, where I work part-time but don't actually go into Story House that often, I haven't been in for ages, and she kindly sent me this and her next book. I am super intrigued in this. It's set in 1413, and I believe it's the first in like a trilogy where she's retelling history from the lens of the women who just didn't have a voice, and that is something that I love. So this is a really high sort of, oh, I would really, really like to get to it. But then we have, and this would be me being very selfless, because again, I don't have another copy of this, but I know my mum would really love this because it's based around one of her favourite women in history. It's The Tower by Flora Carr, and this is set in the 1560s, or starts in the 1560s, and I believe is about Mary Queen of Scots, who my mum loves. So I feel like I've got a difficult decision between these two, and I'm not sure which one it's going to be, because part of me is like, well, I don't have a finished copy of this one, so I want to like read it delicately, but then if I'm passing it on, you can then do what she likes with it, so maybe I'll just have to buy myself a copy if I really like it afterwards. Also, I won't lie, there is part of me that's thinking, oh, I want to make sure that the books I take have the same cover as they do on the finished copies, because that'll look nicer for Instagram. Is that dreadful of me? Is that a dreadful admission? Who have I become? Very torn, and very torn indeed. So that's going to be something that I mull over and maybe actually decide last minute. And actually, to be honest, this list could have changed by the time I leave the house in about 3 hours, as I'm recording this on Friday. And maybe there'll be some other books in the mix. Who can say? Although my patrons will know, actually, because I'm going to be doing a video with Chris about what we're both taking reads-wise. Now, this is the... because I kind of want to take, I'm away for 7 days, so I was thinking 1 book for the flight out, 1 book for the flight back. It'd be quite nice to have maybe 3 or 4 in the middle. How many have I got now? 1, well, potentially 1 of those 2. Definitely that one, so that's 2, 3, 4, ooh, 5. Yeah. Because that's quite a bit, I think, and I will admit I tend to read less when I'm on holiday than when I'm at home as a general rule, but I would like to change it. I just want to be reading more in general. I know I read a lot. I like to sit down for quite a while and read. I'm not very good at reading in snippets in the day-to-day, whereas hopefully on holiday I will have more time to just sort of lounge about. So yeah, so I was thinking it'd be quite nice to take a chunkster, and I picked 3. This though is probably the least likely to go in my suitcase book of them all. Not this next one that I'm going to talk about, but the chunkster in general, because I have got quite a few books there. So the first one of those that I was thinking of taking is The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese, another book that's been recommended to me by lots of people, including some of my lovely patrons, and also Andy Oliver. Absolutely love this one. I last saw her, she was raving about it. I don't have another copy of it, so again, it's one that I would want to sort of batter about a bit and then pass on, but then wouldn't have if I loved it at home. So there's that. It is massive and it feels lovely, but again, weight, because I'm only taking a very small case on the plane, not putting anything in the hold because I want to be off that plane and into Italy as soon as I can. So I don't think it will be this one if I do take a chunkster, but I'm actually talking myself out of taking a chunkster while I'm talking to you. The next one is Reputation by Lex Croucher. I have all of Lex Croucher's books, haven't read a single one. I did actually start this one and got quite a long way in, and then I don't know why I stopped. I feel like it was one that I tried to read before Hay last year, when my reading got a little bit intense, to put it mildly. But I really, really want to get to Lex's books because I really love Lex on Instagram. So, and also I used to love their channel. So yeah, I'm torn on this one. I'm beginning to talk myself out of it. And then the last potential book, although like I said, before I go suddenly an urge could take me and I grab something else off the shelves, is The Whalebone Theatre. And actually this I was thinking of starting last night because I put the bookmark that I'm taking with me to Italy. I know it's a naked man, absolutely saucy, but I thought that was right bang on the trip. Not that I'm planning on seeing lots of naked men, but you know what I mean. Anyway, the last potential pick for me is The Whalebone Theatre by Joanna Quinn, which I think last year, out of all the recommendations I got, top two with this and the book that we don't speak of, In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. And so yeah, I do want to get to this at some point, but I asked a lovely friend on Instagram, Cindy, what her thoughts were on it in terms of would this be a really gripping read that would see me through a plane and then onto like the travels, and she said it's not that sort of gripping. So yeah, I think I have talked myself out of the fact that I'm going to take a chunkster. So I'm not taking any of these three, but they are books that I want to get to very, very soon, along with, I should say, these ones here. So that's been helpful. I don't know if this has been interesting for you, but it's been very helpful for me. So the books that I'm definitely taking are, in fact it's only three because I'm still not sure about the Kate Atkinson. I'm definitely going to take Glorious Exploits by Ferdy Lennon because I think everyone on the trip will enjoy it once I've read it, because I'm going to read it first. And then I'm definitely going to be reading this next. So this is the book that I'm going to start, probably at the airport, we shall see. And then, if not on the plane, and then definitely taking Sarah Perry's Enlightenment, because also actually Chris, I think, really wants to read this too. So that's those three. And then I feel like I do want to take the Kate Atkinson for the plane back because I want to read this Jackson Brody before I read the next one. So I feel like that's, and also she is one of my favourite authors. It'll be a comforting, thrilling, delightful read when I'm not very happy on a plane. So now it's kind of down to which one of those two I take. And I'm going to leave you on that cliffhanger, and on the cliffhanger if I actually pack anything else, because I will be doing a reading vlog while I'm away. That's the only content I'm going to be making. I'm trying to give myself like a proper nice week of zilch, hence why I'm not heading into Ingrid Persaud's, even though I'm absolutely desperate to read it, because I just would read it a little bit differently. And I might do a whole vlog on how I read books for work, because I've got quite a few work events, I've got quite a few events hosting authors coming up. So if that's something that you'd like, let me know in the comments down below, and any questions around that sort of part of my work, yeah, like I said, let me know. In fact, I've got 1 week where I'm doing all sorts of different types of my work, so maybe I'll make a vlog. Well, I'm going to be vlogging every week anyway. Let's all move on. I'm dawdling. I haven't decided between these two yet, and I feel like maybe, well, I want to take one extra book. I don't know, maybe. If you'd like more content while I'm away, you can find my Instagram down below. There's also my Patreon, where there's videos galore that I've previously filmed. I don't know how much I'm going to be doing while I'm away on there. We shall see. I hope you're doing super duper well. I hope you're reading something fab. Let me know what you're reading in the comments down below. Let me know if you have any particular types of books or any rules/guidelines around what you take with you on holiday. And I will see you in another video, not very, very soon, but like in a week or so. I'll speak to you all then.